Today I want to talk about something that I believe doesn't get enough attention out there, and that is good clients versus bad clients. There are a lot of stories out there about businesses doing so-called bad things, or contractor horror stories about projects that go south, right? That didn't go as planned, that took too long, whatever it may be, they did something wrong. Mike Holmes made a whole series and started his, video career or TV show career off doing that, is picking apart projects that did not go very well. And yes, obviously there's a lot of projects or things that were not done properly, and I know he has a story about why he does what he does, and that's not what I want to make this about. However, what I do want to talk about is that there's always three sides to every story. So in these stories about businesses or contractors or any whatever it may be, there's always the client side, there's the homeowner side, and then there's a neutral side too, or somebody who maybe doesn't have to take one side or the other. That one's a little bit harder to find. But in these cases where we hear these horror stories, it makes it very difficult for contractors, good contractors who want to do good work. We walk in the door with these judgments against us before we even say anything, right? There's these preconceived notions about contractors. Car salesmen are similar, right? You likely have this preconceived notion of what a car salesman is, and it's probably not a good thing. So since we are a contractor, let's get back to the contracting stories. These projects that go south, so to speak, I don't know why we say go south. Going south to me is kind of a good thing, at least living up here in Canada. But anyways, these projects that don't go very well, whose fault was it? If we had to pick somebody, is it the contractor's fault or the homeowner's fault? Maybe it's neither. Maybe it's a combination. Maybe they were working together and the project didn't go well. So as an example, I can speak from experience. Let's say we walk in and we see something that was not done properly. Was it not done properly because the contractor did it that way without anybody saying anything? Or was it not done properly because the homeowner perhaps requested it or demanded it to be done that way, and the contractor went ahead and did it because they wanted to make the homeowner happy? Right? So in either case, the contractor is going to be at fault here to some extent because it's not being done right. It's either you do what the client has asked for to try and make them happy, or you say no and don't do it, which is going to make the client unhappy. In either case, now that it's done wrong, the client's going to be unhappy again. So it's kind of a lose-lose situation for the contractor in this case. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but that's an example. That's something that I've been a part of, where you do something against your better judgment because you're trying to make somebody happy. But in reality, one thing that I've learned is that people that are not happy about one thing are often not happy about other things. It's impossible to make everybody or make some people happy. And what I've realized is that there is no formula for success, but there is a formula to be unsuccessful, and that is try to make everybody happy all the time. It's just not possible. And some people just choose to be unhappy. But anyways, I digress from that. Another example would be perhaps the homeowner went with the cheapest bid. I talk to people all the time that said, okay, well, we went with the cheapest bid the first time and it didn't work out for us. Well, obviously that's going to happen because you can't go out looking for a Tesla and go to the Kia dealership. It's just not going to happen. You're going to end up with the Kia. Maybe there's a used Tesla there. But anyways. And the other thing that makes it really difficult for contractors is when there's always somebody there, a homeowner watching over their shoulder or micromanaging them or telling them what to do. They watched a video, maybe it was one of our videos, but anyways, they watched a video, and on that video, the person said to do it this way. So because the homeowner watched it, they start telling the contractor what to do. And this could be for anything, right? It doesn't just have to be for contracting. But that's like if you're working at a job and your boss gives you a task to do in a deadline and then starts micromanaging and watching over every little bit that you do and commenting on it before it's done. It's just not going to get done by the deadline because there's too many people interacting. There's too many things happening to slow it down. Maybe there's changes or requests or all these questions that are coming up before you even have a chance to get the ultimate task done. So these are all things that are going to slow down a project. And from a client, this is the client and contractor perspective, or client and whoever you're dealing with, is that there's two sides, right? It's yes, businesses, I believe that people are good. Businesses exist because they want to go out and provide a good service. No business sets out to say, I'm going to go out and do a bad job. I want to go out and provide terrible service. They don't want to do that. They need to provide good service. They want to provide a good service. And that is a lot easier when a client and that business are working together. There's two sides, right? And it takes two to tango. So I'll share another example, not on the contracting side, but if you've been following us for a while, you are likely aware that I own a 77 Volkswagen Westfalia, and you might also be aware that last year I had some bad luck, so to speak, with it. So personally, I'm all for hiring people who are good at what they do and letting them do their job. So I don't work on the mechanical parts of my van. I have this guy, Ron Cashman. He's amazing. He's not far from my house, and he's like the Volkswagen guy to go to in my area, and he works on the van. And last year, there's these 2 months where it broke down. I broke down probably 4 or 5 times. I had to call a tow truck about 3 times. Ron had come and fixed me on the side of the road at one point. But there's a lot of things that happen on the van. And every time the van was back in the shop, it was painful because I didn't get to drive it. And, I park it all winter. But it was what it was. There's nothing I can do about it. So in that case, I was the client, right? I'm the client. I have this issue, and I bring the van to Ron. And Ron says, you know what? This is probably what it is. I'll do it. I'll fix it. I'll let you know when it's ready. So he does the work. He fixes it. And I get the phone call that it's all ready. I'm all excited. I get there as soon as I can. They've obviously test driven it, and it's been working beautifully. And then I take the van out, and it's running beautifully for maybe 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, however long it may be. And then the problem would start happening. And it was the same problem that kept happening. So then I call him back and be like, hey, Ron, sorry, but it's not fixed yet. And he's like, okay, well, get it back here and we'll take another look. And, I have some other ideas of what it could be. And obviously this went back and forth. Like I said, I was back in there 4 or 5 times. Each time it broke down, I could have been upset. I could have reacted in a way that made him feel bad or demanded that it be fixed or not pay for the last one or whatever it may be. But I know what it's like to be in that position. I know he feels bad. He doesn't want, there's no advantage to him not fixing my van. I know he wants to fix the van. I know he wants to do a good job, and I know he wants it out there for me to enjoy. There's no advantage to him having me break down so that I have to call him again. Right? He doesn't feel good about it. That doesn't look good on the work that he does. There's nothing. So by me getting upset or demanding that he fix it or demand that I get a credit or anything like that, is not going to speed the process up. It's not going to make it more enjoyable. It's not going to want him to work on the van. Would you rather do work for somebody who is appreciative and happy of everything that you do, or do work for somebody who just demands and is always angry and upset at what you're doing? It's probably the first one. You'd rather do the work or bend over backwards for that person who is happy about what you're doing and understands that you're doing everything in your control to make it happen. Those are the people that we like to serve. Those are the people that we like to work with. And those are the people that you go the extra mile for. The people who are demanding and who are jerks or just don't understand it are the ones that bring the morale down of the whole team, the company, are not the people that you want to be working for, because those are the times that you wake up and you're like, well, why do I do what I do? So being in that position, it was a good reminder, and I wrote a blog post about this on my personal page, about being a good client, understanding the position, knowing that the person that you've hired is doing their best that they can and they're working with what they have. There are a million things that are out of our control, and as long as we can control the things that are in our control, that's all we can do, right? And obviously it's a 40-some-odd-year-old vehicle. It's not going to be in perfect condition. Things are going to happen. I knew what I was getting into when I bought that van. I knew that this could happen. That's why I pay for roadside assistance, because when inevitably it happens, I take advantage of that. So ask yourself, what kind of client are you? Are you the type of client that people love to see or love to see the name pop up in an email or text message or phone call? Or are you the person who gets people's blood pressure boiling when they see your name or they see you walk into their store? Right? When you're in that client position, whether you're a contractor or dealing with a contractor or buying a car or even just buying a coffee, how are you making the other person feel on the other side of that transaction as the client? Are you showing appreciation and that's it? Or are you showing appreciation, maybe giving a compliment and then following up with but? You know, the coffee is really good, but the floor over there could be a little bit cleaner. In those situations, whatever you say before the word but gets squashed by everything that comes after it. It all gets covered over. So remember, we are all clients at some point. So the next time you are a client, whether it's for a product or a service, be conscious of your role in that transaction. Everything that we do is of importance to the overall outcome. If you've enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and we will see you on the next video. It all gets covered over. I don't know how to end this.
I thought you were just going to start with a point after that, so next time.
Oh, you just want me to say that last point?
Yeah.
Okay.